Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I am your host, Adam Cousins. It is Ignite week. It is Gold Rush week. I am joined as always by my problem child, my good buddy, Dave Robinson. Dave, we were discussing off air how you cut your hair because of Mr. Mark True touched it at Buckle Up. So we'll touch on that in a minute. But of course, it is Ignite, it is Buckle Up, no, not Buckle Up, it's Gold Rush now. And we wouldn't be here or talking, or it wouldn't be right for us to be talking Gold Rush without the man who's had a bit of a week. We'll get into it. He had a bit of a stressful start, but the end was good because he's now an official Hall of Famer. He can rub shoulders with the likes of Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin and co. It is the Ignite owner, Mr. CJ Carter. Good evening to you.
Hey, thank you very much. What an intro. I don't know if I'm quite alongside Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan just yet, but I am a Hall of Famer in my own right.
Got a Hall of Fame ring. That is it.
I've got my own Hall of Fame ring. Yeah.
Next to the guys at UBW, and congratulations to them for 10 years.
Yeah, it was a great show. Their 10-year anniversary just this past weekend. And it was an honor to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. It's great.
Richly deserved, as I said on a
thank you.
Thank you. We mentioned at the start you've had a bit of a week. It started a little bit on the bad side, on the sort of stressful side. So I'll break it down a little bit, and you can add a little bit to it. So obviously, as any promoter, you book talents to come on shows, and then you get a dreaded text that you don't really want to get. 2 weeks, no, not any time really, but 2 weeks before. But the tag team act 2 that you'd booked for against Rebellion, look, they got a bigger opportunity for a big show on the same day, and they were very gracious. They said to you, look, they apologized profusely, but they wanted to do that show, and there's nothing you could really do. You didn't stand in their way. You obviously said good luck to them. It's a big opportunity for them, but but as a promoter, stress goes into overdrive at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's by far not the first time I've lost talents 2 weeks or a week before the show, but I mean, it was a painful one to take. I'll be honest with you. Look, they're a tag team I've followed for like a good a year, if not longer. I've had my eye on them all of this year. Wanted to bring them in, and for me, this was a dream match, right? It's a match I've wanted all year, really. I tried them in July. They couldn't do that. I tried them before that in the April. They couldn't do that one either. So it was like, right, September was the first one they could do, and it was, for me, it was like, Rebellion are one of, if not the best tag team in the South, and they are fast becoming the best tag team in the Midlands North. And I wanted that real clash as the North and South best tag teams. They're two teams that always wanted to face each other and never have. So it was a real flagship match for us. And they were actually the first act, no pun intended, that I announced on this show. Like, even before Buckle Up had happened, I announced that Act 2 were debuting. This was a big deal, this match. So yeah, it was a painful one to take, but at the same time, it's like, what a huge opportunity for them. Look, I was an active wrestler this time last year, and I know what it's like when a big opportunity falls on your lap, and you just can't let these things pass. They come along like once in a career sometimes, and yeah, they came to me and they said, would you mind if we took this? And it's like, look, I'm not going to get in the way of them. Their careers could potentially blow up off the back of this. So, good luck to them. I wish them all the best. But yeah, it was difficult. And, trying to find another tag team of that caliber with 2 weeks to go is not easy, and there's a lot of shows going on around the country. So yeah, made it a little bit tricky. So, but I guess that's what comes with being a promoter and running shows. In April show, we lost Warren Banks, 48 hours before the show.
Yeah.
And these things happen. We lost. We had the lads booked in February of this year, and Ben got injured the night before the show. I got a phone call at 11 o'clock on the Saturday night to say Ben's injured his ankle in a tag match. What are we going to do? So it's like, dude, like, what? You've just lost half of a tag team, 12 hours before your show. It's stressful and it's not ideal. And so, it was a pretty stressful start to last week. But we got there, and we got TK Cooper debuting now. So that's huge. That's massive for Ignite. And who knows? We might even have Sunshine Machine in the future as well after this. So who knows?
Who knows? Let's start. I think that's the best match to start with, as we've spoken about it. So obviously you had to book at this point now. The Rebellion as a tag will not be happening, but they will be there still as a team. But it's Taylor James and TK Cooper that will be having a single match on the show. For me, and I've been looking at this, and maybe begrudgingly for you, as considering he retired you and all the stuff that's gone on. But Taylor is now at that level where he really is got to be going against. He went against Oku. He had a tremendous show in there. Michael obviously picked up the win in that last show. But Taylor is now at a point where he can really only he can really, as a single, only take on the best of the best, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, Taylor is someone that I've known for a good while. And, he was one of the first names down when it came to starting Ignite and having people part of that. And he was already by that point probably one of the best tag teams in the country. And look, Rebellion have been a large part of Ignite as well. But I really do see something special in Taylor. I always have. He's got that star charisma about him that you can't necessarily teach, right? He's a great worker. Jack's an amazing worker as well. They're a great tag team, and there's lots of amazing workers. But there's just a little something in certain talents, and you're just like, they've got that one special thing that you can't necessarily teach. And I think Taylor's got that. And I really think after the Oku match, people are starting to sit up and notice that. He tore it down with arguably the best wrestler we have in this country right now, one of the best in the world, I would say, with Oku. And he was, he held his own. He was completely on Oku's level. And I think people are, totally waking up to the fact that Taylor is going to be one of the best in the country as a singles wrestler as well as a tag. And so, to come off the back of that match with Oku and now to face TK, who in himself is a former Progress Tag Team Champion, a former Rev Pro Tag Team Champion, has done it all, been all over the country, wrestled everyone there is to wrestle. So it, doesn't get that much bigger than TK either. So what a great follow-up match for Taylor James.
Absolutely. Dave, what about you for this?
We had Michael Oku on, and he said about Taylor, Michael was perhaps expected to put a hell of a performance on. He was the big star going onto the show, but Taylor more than held his own, and he was Michael's equal that night. For you, CJ, when you're looking at bringing stars from outside, your Michael Okus, and in this case, TK Cooper, is there an element of trust that you've already got for Taylor, and that you can put him in that situation, bring those guys in, and give a real good account of Ignite?
Yeah, you nailed it. Like, you completely nailed it. Like, I know whoever I put Taylor in there with, he is going to put on one hell of a show. And, I want to make sure that from now on, I am bringing in people that are going to help elevate him as well, and show the country that he is at their level, and like, you're right. I 100% trust him to have an incredible match with whoever comes in. But B, it's about everyone else realizing that Taylor's at a TK Cooper's level, and sadly that might mean in the months and years to come that he'll fly his wings and he'll leave the Ignite nest at some point and go off to bigger and better things, as does happen with people. Doesn't mean they can't still come back. Look at Lando. He's returning in November. He was on every Ignite show for the first year, and then he blew up, he got huge, and it becomes slightly harder to get them at that point because, everyone's wanting a piece of them. Yeah. And, we've got Lando coming back in, and I truly feel that Taylor will be one of those next people that takes that next step up, and he'll be on the Rev Pros and the Progresses and the TNTs. And then, it may become harder to kind of get him at that point. But yeah, I hope that does happen.
Yeah, and we always say make the most of what you've got, because you never know when that time will. We don't have them, and that's not just me personally. That's just wrestling as well, from my back. Anyway, move on to breakout. So I had an interview. I spoke to the lovely Jackson Hart today. We was talking about the breakout division, and we're going to talk about it now. I must admit, my pronunciation of names is very poor, as Dave would know. And we talk in AW, and you didn't have to agree, Dave. You could have just said I'm improving. But anyway, nevertheless, Adonis Payne against Remy. Here we go. Adet Juni, is that right? Is that close?
It's close enough.
Well, that's as good as you're going to get from me, unfortunately. So I apologise to Remy in advance. Don't beat me up on Sunday.
Adonis Payne against Remy. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it. Fine. Breakout division. Adonis, very much a tag team specialist again with Artemis. They've held tag team title for over a year in some other companies. They're really good together. I don't know a lot about Remy. So one of the first questions is, what are we going to expect with Remy? And secondly, does Adonis Payne going to have to be really quick and realise now that he's in a single? Because when you're tagging for so long, you do get used to that tag team environment. He's not going to be able to reach out and make that tag.
Yeah, man. So these are two people I've had my eyes on for a long time. Remy is someone who I actually trained probably about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's 2023 now. So I was, when I was still wrestling myself, and I was wrestling at Apex quite a lot, I was taking training up there, and he was a trainee up there. And he was there every week, and I was taking training every week, and he just stood out for me amongst the entire pack. I was just like, man, this guy is so athletically gifted, it is unbelievable. He is gonna definitely go on to big things. I'm gonna keep my eye on this guy. And then he went off and did some stuff with WrestleForce for a long time, and that's all he was kind of doing. And I kind of kept my eye on him, and it was like, right, when the right opportunity comes along, I'm bring this guy in. And just recently, it's kind of like he's starting to branch out and move to different places. Like he's now kind of aligned himself with the 8-7, and he's part along with Warren Banks and Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth and Harrison Leon, now doing that with them as well. And I kind of felt like it was the right time to bring him in. And Adonis is also someone I've had my eyes on for a long time. So I actually had Adonis Payne's one of his first ever matches on a main show. So he'd had a few kind of academy shows because he trained at Square One, so we did a few Square One shows. But his first show on a main UBW show was against myself and Charles Crowley, and he was tagging the great Charles Crowley. Me and him had a we were kind of like tied together forever at UBW. It was like a big feud, and then we went into doing like a tag team thing. And so we had a tag match against Adonis Payne and Truman Roswell, and that was one of his first ever matches and his first match on a main show. And I was blown away with how good he was at such a kind of early point in his career. So that was another person I've been keeping my eye on ever since. And that match was only September 21, I think. So so pretty much 2 years ago to the month by the time he comes in. Wow. So not really that long. And he's been doing great things in the Odyssey with Artemis since then. Maybe it will be a bit strange for him coming in and doing a singles now, because he hasn't done an awful lot of singles stuff. He did a little bit when he first started out, but he very quickly kind of aligned himself with Artemis at UBW and started doing the Odyssey tag, and they've kind of blown up, and they're double tag champs. And obviously we've used Artemis at Ignite as well, and we will have the Odyssey there, but they're not together. So I think this is going to be a great platform for both of these two to kind of show everyone what they're about. I've had my eyes on them for ages, so I'm sure they're going to tear it up and do the breakout division proud.
In regards to the breakout division, CJ, tell us a little bit more about that and the idea behind it. Is it to supplement the roster that you already have, or are you looking at these matches and hoping that these breakout stars can come and join your roster? What's the idea behind it?
So I mean, the opportunity is absolutely there for everyone in the breakout division to end up as part of the main roster. It was actually one of the first concepts that I came up with when I started Ignite. It was, because I was previously running Clash with Gene Money, who's back on this show, and Clash was built up of quite a lot of names at the time, so we brought in a lot of people from Progress at the time. It was, and people that me and G Money wrestled with, and I kind of felt that there was anything lacking with Clash, or something not lacking, but something that I felt was maybe missing slightly, was the ability to maybe give some of the newer guys opportunities right off the bat. So people who maybe aren't as experienced and maybe won't have the greatest match on the card, maybe they will, you don't know, but let's give some people some opportunities, because without an opportunity you're not going to go anywhere. And it's getting that first kind of like big chance or big opportunity, the first ability for people to get eyeballs on you outside of your home promotion. That's what really counts, and that's the hardest thing to do, I would say, on the British wrestling scene, because once you'd always start off somewhere, right? You'll always start off at like a home promotion and you'll be booked there consistently. But it's branching out to that next place or the second place and just, making a name somewhere else. That's when people go, oh, okay, so he's not just liked by that one promotion. He's also being used over here and over there. So, and that's what I wanted the breakout division to be, like an opportunity to bring in these newer people, get some new eyeballs on them. And yeah, also, as you've pointed out quite rightly, test out some talent as well. Like, see who's about. Like, let's see who can really deliver in this breakout division. And if they do, they'll become part of the main roster. In the first year, Taylor James and Nino Bryant were the first breakout division match, and look where they are now. Smashing Mike was in the breakout division. Look, he's challenging for the first ever hitting the Turnbuckle Championship this Sunday, right? That's huge. Taylor James wrestled Michael Oku on the last show. These two people, Nino Bryant won the first breakout division, and he's now a mainstay for us, and he's now become Purpose champion. So Xander Bryant, who became mainstay on the roster, although he hasn't been on the last couple of shows, but he'll be back. And Mark True, your favorite person, Adam, Mark True, who
he had two attempts at this and he failed them both.
Mark True, he was in the breakout division. So just look at those names, right? Like, they have become mainstays since, and that's completely and utterly the goal. So bring people in, get some new eyeballs on them, have one match per show that is dedicated to new talent, and potentially become a main roster Ignite talent. That's the goal. Yeah,
awesome.
And I'm proud of it. I am proud of it too, like, because I do feel like it's giving some people opportunities.
Well, definitely, it's got that track record as well. Some of the names you've just mentioned, some of the matches they've gone on to since being part of the breakout division, that opportunity's there, and you've created that. So that's, a real good feather in the cap for Ignite.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
We have to talk about him now, don't we? Right. Okay. The next match we're going to talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, am I right in the winner of this match will potentially be next in line for a title opportunity down the line? Absolutely.
Yeah. They can have a title shot anytime they want, and it can be any title they want. Now there's two on the line now, so
yeah.
Obviously at the time there was only one title. Nino cashed his in and immediately got jumped by Taylor on the way out and kind of cost him that one, and Corey ended up still walking away with the title. So it's not a given that the person who's going to cash in is going to end up winning that title. But yeah, if you win the breakout division, you have the ability to challenge for the Ignite Championship or now the Turnbuckle Championship as well. So
yeah, what about the match in question, Mark and Nino? Are the winners of that potentially down the line? Are they at that stage now? Well, Mark is a champion. He keeps rubbing it in on socials that he's 2-belt true in other places.
Yeah,
I called him something else beginning with T. At the end of it wasn't true.
Anyway. 4 letters.
Yeah. So he was on there. So he's 2-belt true other way. Now, look, I'm going to have to give him some praise. The guy's done some great things. He got a big victory over Charles Crowley at the last show, albeit by a bit of shenanigans. Nino was very impressive against Scotty Rourke. So these are the two where, you sort of say the Coreys and the Taylors And then you've got right really behind them, you've got the likes of these two guys, Mark and Nino. And this is going to be the match that really ascertains who's next.
Yeah, totally. Like, another thing that I'm really proud of at Ignite, as well as the breakout division, is the fact we have a real good core roster of people. A core group of talents on every show that all the fans can emotionally invest in. They can see them grow show to show. They've been with us from the beginning all the way through, and love him or hate him, and most people do hate him. He's he's got a big mouth on him, old True. He's bloody brilliant in the ring. He just is, right? Like, there's no denying it. And the problem is he bloody knows it. That's the problem. And he loves to tell me all the time, when you putting the belt on me, when you put me in the main events. It's like, come on, man, you like earn it, right? Earn it. Okay. Show me that you deserve a title shot of some kind. And that doesn't, that doesn't come with just one win. The win was huge against Crowley, granted, it's huge, but you don't get a title shot just off the back of that one win. So, but yeah, these are two core Ignite talents who've been with us. Nino's been with us since show 1 and has been on every single show since. True's been with us since show 2 and has, I think, only missed one show since. So, and they've had, all of them have had incredible matches. True has 2 brilliant matches with Smashing Mike. People still talk about those matches now. And obviously the breakout division final that they were both in last November, people still say is one of the best matches that Ignite's ever put on. So, they're incredibly talented. There's no denying that. But yeah, whoever comes off the back of this, I think will probably have some kind of say for at some point getting a title shot. So I guess we'll see what happens. And, I would not be surprised to see this be a match of the night or even match of the year either. So
yeah, I love the booking of this match because not only, as you say, have you got Nino, Nino's coming off the back of a big win as well as Buckle Up, as well as Mark True. Nino picked up the win against Scotty Rourke. So, something's got to give really in this match, and this could really show us which one of the two is going to go on now and really push on in Ignite.
That's it. True never shuts up about wanting a title shot. Nino wants to get back round to his title shot because obviously he had his title shot against Corey, but that was kind of like jumped and ended unceremoniously by Taylor James. So I never really got a fair shot at it, really, to be honest. And he wants to get back round to that again. And I know that for a fact. He's just not quite as loud-mouthed about it as Mark True. So
who is? You seem to forget that before True comes out, he goes, oi, 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 oi. And that's probably what he says to you before he starts talking about his title shot. But don't worry, Rachel's got him a baby bell, so he can eat that. And hopefully he'll be eating a few fists from Nino. But not that I'm biased.
And kicks and headbutts.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that True pushed Dave's hair in the last show, and ever since then it's falling out. As you say, so True has that.
Look what's happened to it since he touched it.
he did have dreads.
So you're looking sharp, man. I like it.
Cheers,
we've both got some sharp new haircuts going, so it's all right.
Yeah, we're rocking it, man. We're rocking it.
I feel a bit left out now.
Sorry, we'll steer the conversation away from the hair. Come on.
Yeah. I've kept the dreads in a shoebox, Ad, if you want something making up. I'm sure Rach could work a magic and give you a glow up.
Yeah, maybe I'll give them to Rachel and she can work her magic on them and put them on me, see what I look like. I would imagine what I was calling True. But anyway, let's move on swiftly and quickly to probably one of the grudge matches on the card. And I'm really looking forward to this. Kira Chimera, Aluna Blue, no DQ. Backstory on this, bitter end. Kira beat Aluna with the bat. She did use the bat, but she very sneakily used the bat to beat her, but got the win. Aluna comes back a buckle up, beats Artemis, gets jumped by Kira. And that's kind of set this match up. CJ, was your hand kind of forced with this? Because she used the bat. Aluna's come backstage and said, look, I don't want to have any rules with this match because, she used the bat. I want to be able to use something. So was your hands kind of tied when you had to kind of think of how are we going to put these two together in a match where pretty much anything goes?
Yeah. I mean, look, Kira has used the bat twice. And, we've had a couple of no DQ matches already at Ignite, and I think, it's a great way to end this feud. Aluna wanted it. Kira's not someone personally I'd want to be in the ring with in a no DQ match. I don't think I'd want to be in a ring with Kira full stop. Her kicks alone are enough to scare most people off, let alone when she's got the ability to use anything she wants to use. But yeah, I mean, look, these matches are again something that I'm, kind of pride myself on at Ignite and telling, having these stories thread through. So, me and Taylor had the big blow off in the street fight, and then Nino and Taylor had the big blow off with me as referee. So, and we try to have like some feuds and some stories that run through multiple shows. And here we are with Aluna and with Kira. This is the big blow off match. It's a women's no DQ match. You don't see that many of those around. They do happen, but you don't get loads of them. And I don't see that there's any reason why the women shouldn't be able to do what the men do on the shows. I don't understand why it's like, we've had intergender matches at Ignite, and I'll continue to do that as well. And I believe that the women should be able to challenge for both the titles as well. I'm not that keen on women's divisions and titles at Ignite personally. I'm not saying that's it doesn't work elsewhere. It does work, but for Ignite personally, what I want to do is I just want the women to be on kind of level pegging with the men. And so yeah, that totally means them having no DQ matches and whatever match comes their way. And yeah, I think this could be hopefully kind of like a real standout match for us to kind of highlight our women's division. And not women's division as such, but women in Ignite is what I mean. So yeah. And both Aluna's been with us now for a year, and Kira's been with us just over a year. So both mainstays as well. And Aluna's now one of the biggest fan favorites we have. There are very few people, maybe Smash and Mike might be the only one. There are very few people who are loved as much as Aluna at Ignite. So
Aluna, seemingly, one of the busiest people on the indie scene. She seems to pop up all up and down the country. She was meant to be on a BCCW show down here in the Midlands last week, but I think similar to what happened with yourself, she got a bigger booking, and with the promoters kind of grace, he kind of encouraged her to take the bigger show. But it just shows how her hard work and her commitment to performing week in and week out is really starting to pay off for her.
Yeah, I mean, like there are a few people who are working as regularly as she is right now. She is everywhere. Every time I open my Facebook, there's another promotion announcing Aluna working on their show. And she's got it all. She really has. And I think people forget how new into her career she is. I think she's less than 2 years in. Like but she's just developing so fast. She's got amazing charisma. She's got an amazing look right out the gate. She got incredible gear. She just looked like a superstar from day one, and that carries across. And everyone loves her. And she's on every poster and graphic we do because she's just loved so much. And I guess if she can get through Kira, like we were talking about True and Nino, I guess she would also have a claim to maybe a title shot at some point as well. So
watch this space. Talking of titles, let's go with, the Ignite Championship, the big one. Corey and Gene Money. Corey has been running roughshod for about a year now as champion. But he is taking on the belt collector. Is this arguably Corey's biggest challenge?
It's up there. I mean, Mills and Mike was probably, Mills is no easy person to get through either. And he was a triple threat match generally. But I think as a singles, this is his biggest challenge for sure. Gene Money is one of the biggest names in the country right now. As we were just kind of mentioning with Aluna, although it's kind of more expected out of Gene, if I'm honest, because he's been around much longer. But, like with Aluna, he's everywhere. He's literally everywhere. I don't think maybe Rev Pro might be the only promotion in the country where that man's face doesn't pop up on a graphic or a poster. And look, I've known him for a long time. He's one of my closest friends. We ran Clash together. And, there's a lot of history here with this as well. 2 years he ran shows in that building with me. He's never had a title shot. We always said that, we would never put ourselves in those positions as promoters and running shows, so he never got the ability to challenge for a title in that venue. And now he finally gets to come back to 96 Shenley Road, to Boreham Wood. Hasn't been, he main evented the first Ignite show. Hasn't been back since. Him and Warren Banks were in the main event with Dexter. Now he's finally coming back, and now he's finally getting his title shot in the venue where he ran shows for 2 years. You know, what a story. And he's coming back as one of the biggest names in the entire country with, you know, stacks and stacks of 5-star matches under his belt. And yeah, coming back to face Corey, who has, like, I don't think we could have wished for a better, I'd say, first champion. He's obviously not the first champion. Forrest Hayes will always be the first champion, but sadly didn't get to defend that title. So Corey's the kind of like first mainstay of champion, the first champion who got to defend the title and have a run as champion. And we couldn't have wished for a better person to do that in hindsight. You know, it's not been easy to get that title off of him. Obviously, it'll be a full year by the time we get to Gold Rush on Sunday. He won it at September's show last year. He's run through 5 or 6 different people now. And can anyone take the title off him? I don't know. If anyone can, I guess it's G Money, right? Like you said, this will probably be his toughest test. And probably one of the best matches we would have seen, I think, at Ignite, to be honest, because they're just, both of the guys are just so talented. So yeah.
Just picking up on Gene Money, a guy that obviously you announced as a surprise return at the last show. There were fans sitting behind me in attendance prior to you announcing that. They were saying that they hoped Gene Money be back at some point. So they were going mad when the announcement was made. If he wins the title or not, do you think that he'd be someone that's going to be sticking around Ignite for future shows? Do you think he's going to have an extended run back in the company? Or was this a one-time deal if he doesn't win the title?
No, I want to see him back. I want to see Gene back. Look, like I said, we're very close, and he's got a lot of history in that venue, and the fans still remember him. They still remember him. You know, he wrestled in that venue for 2 years on every single show, and he did our first show. And I know it's been to be 2 years in October since our first show. So we're nearly at 2 years. By the time we roll around to November, we would have hit our 2-year anniversary. And so it's been a long time since he's been back. But people, like you said, people are still asking about him. People still remember him. And that's the kind of character that he is. You know, I think you've only sometimes ever got to see him once, and you're not going to forget him. He's so charismatic. He's so memorable. There's no one else really like him, I don't think, on the scene. So yeah, if I get my way, he'll be back, and he'll be back for a run. Yeah.
Awesome. Young Abigail and her family and her dad in particular will be happy with that news.
Yeah, those were the two. Those were the two also watch our show, I believe.
Yeah, and we promised them that we wouldn't swear, and I don't think I've swore once since so
today.
I think nearly slipped out, but I think I rested it.
Yeah. Anyway, the Turnbuckle Championship, our title, the prestigious title that we're so grateful that Ignite are allowing us allowed us to have, and B, allowed putting it on our show. We travelled the country. Dave, you recommended us Leiden. Very good. So well done for your recommendation. Me and CJ were talking about Lance Rivera for a while, although Dave did say that he looks a bit like Orange Cassidy. I don't know if that's
the orange vibe going on in that picture.
Know if that's a compliment or not, but anyway, he was again a very, very top talent, Midlands and up north way. But we couldn't have the title match without a Ignite mainstay or one of the Ignite mainstays in there. Probably you're talking about the hardest working guy. I see videos on Facebook at 3 o'clock in the morning when this guy's just going to bed. He's in the Rev Pro training ring. He's on a match. He's doing everything. So we had to put Smashing Mike in this match. But this match, I think we wanted it to be a workhorse title, CJ. And I think the 3 that we've got in there will absolutely nail that.
Yeah. You nailed it. Workhorse title. So, you know, ideally, the best workers around the country, from Midlands, from North, from South, from everywhere. Let's bring them all in, and let's really showcase that talent and see who's going to walk away with that Turnbuckle Championship show to show. And yeah, you say like you're grateful that you have that title on our show. Well, I'm just grateful that we're able to work together and we're able to do this together. So it means a lot to me and to Ignite as well that we're doing this. And this is a huge match and a huge chance to present a new championship for the first time. And for me, it's very much going to be on par with the Ignite Championship as well. You know, someone I was having a conversation with someone about this just the other day, and I said, "How do you see the new title coming in? Is it just going to be a secondary title?" And I was like, "No, I don't want it to just be seen as a secondary title. Like, I want it to be seen as important, or at least, you know, if not on par, then very, very close to. You know, I want it to be a title that can also main event shows. You know, I want it to be seen in that light. The way I described it was, you know, if you watch AEW, what Orange Cassidy did for that international championship, you know, in that international title, that obviously they just main evented All Out with that title, and you know, and no one was like, why is that title main eventing? Because it was made to feel important. It was made to feel like it was up there with the main title. And that's what I want this championship to be about as well. So, yeah, like you said, we've got Lance Riviera, we've got George Lydon, two talents in the Midlands and the North who are smashing it. George is getting everywhere at the moment. He really is. And he is going to blow up very, very soon. And Lance is no stranger to championships himself. He's still the current PEW champion. He was the Wrestle Island champion as well. So he's held gold. And, you know, Ignite's own Smashing Mike, like, I call him the people's champion now. You know, I felt like even though he wasn't successful in that title main event at Buckle Up, maybe not so fairly if people saw the match. You know, took a belt to the face from Corey, and I know it's a triple threat, so there's no DQs, but you know, I feel like he maybe had that match potentially won, and he could have been walking out with that title. So I think it's only fair that he gets a second opportunity for another championship personally. And like I was saying earlier, other than a Luna Blue, there is no one even close to Smashing Mike in terms of how much the crowd love him. It's crazy when he comes out now, the place just explodes. So yeah, he's earned it.
You've put a card together here, CJ. All 6 matches, looking at them, each and every one could steal the show, and that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. Yeah. If you look at the competitors that you've got, you know, coming to people on Sunday. I mean, George Lydon, Friday night down at BCCW, he stole the show. He was absolutely phenomenal. I think he's 19. I think
he's just turned 20.
Yeah, he just said he's 20 this week. Yeah. He's going places in wrestling 100%. And a lot of the guys on your card could say the same for. Smashing Mike, though, I think a lot of people were disappointed that he didn't come out with a title the last show. He's got another opportunity now. And like you say, just exactly the same as a Luna Blue, all that hard work is paying off now. And it wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, all 3 of these have got a great shot. But I think Smashing Mike's bringing a lot of momentum and a lot of fan power into this show on Sunday.
Yeah, and momentum is the one thing I mean, I know he's not coming off of a win at the last one, but in terms of like a wave of momentum from the crowd and that kind of like, it's just been organic and natural. It's just kind of like, it's not something that I necessarily was like right from the beginning, right, I'm handpicking this guy. It just kind of happened, and it's like sometimes you just can't hold that back. And yeah, I think there were a lot of very disappointed people Buckle Up that he didn't walk out with that championship. So I guess we'll see if he can walk out with it this time. And yeah, look, I've been looking at that card as well, and it was always going to be very, very difficult to top Buckle Up. Yeah, hands down, I don't think it's even arguable that it's been the best Ignite show we've ever done. Every single fan that was there said that. From top to bottom, it just was incredible. And, you know, that's partly down to you guys coming on board and being a part of that. So thank you for that. And it was always it's like that difficult second album, almost that follow up. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like when you have a smash hit, how do you come out with another smash hit straight off the back of that? And so it was going to be tricky, but I kind of feel like we might do it. Like I feel like this, you know, and in a kind of weird kind of way, as much as I really, really wanted Act 2 on this show, and my God, did I want Act 2 on this show because I waited and waited. I mean, TK and Taylor in a singles could almost end up better in some ways. Like coming straight off of that, you know, we could have, as gutted as I am to lose the tag match, it's like, hang on a minute, we've now got another singles match that could steal the show here as well. Like this could, and then you've got G Money and Corey, like you just said, Lydon's in that freeway, and he is legit gonna, like, 12 months from now, he's going to be on Rev Pro and smashing it and stealing the show. I promise you, I guarantee that. And you know, you've got a no DQ women's match with two women who hate each other, and there's an all-out war there, and they've got the grudge and the feud behind them. True and Nino, who are two talents that could slot into any promotion in the country easily. I mean, Nino's now getting about everywhere. Like, he's been tearing it up at Attack. He is Purpose champion, and probably our strongest breakout match of the whole year. So it's like, wow, like you said, I really do think any of these matches could be match of the night. And look, I'm a promoter, I'm an ex-wrestler, but I'm also a wrestling fan, and I've been a fan all my life, and I try to book cards and shows that I will enjoy as a fan, as well as that I think the fans will enjoy. And yeah, as a fan myself, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, and I've just got to say this. Obviously, we started the show by talking about the unfortunate news that Act 2 weren't going to appear. But everybody knows now that Act 2 were ready and willing, and they were going to be there on Sunday. So there's almost extra stakes on Taylor and TK, really, to represent their teams, because I know Act 2 are in the background. So, you know, that's an opportunity for either the Rebellion or for Sunshine Machine to potentially face Act 2 in the future. So whoever wins in that match could get a little, you know, 1 foot on a card in the future with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a match I'd love to see. What, you just thrown that out there, and I'm just thinking now in my head, I'm thinking, my God, Act 2 and Sunshine Machine, what a match that would be.
Yeah. The Booker strikes again. All right. We're going to start wrapping up. You've got less than 30 tickets to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where can anyone get their tickets from? If you haven't already, you're stupid. But
we're down to under 30 tickets. That's legit. That's not like promoter hyperbole. That's not like, we're legit under 30 tickets. You know, Buckle Up sold out. We're hoping we can sell this one out as well. So yeah, 96.eventbrite.co.uk is where you want to go to get your tickets. One of the last 20 or so tickets. Because once they're gone, they're gone. There will be no more.
28 to be exact, CJ. 28.
Oh, down there we go. You counted.
I had the seat. I can't really see it, but I've got the seating map there. 28 left.
He's on it. Down to the last 28 tickets. Grab one of them before Sunday, because once they're gone, right? Yeah. So, and also, yeah, check out Ignite Wrestling Pro on Facebook. Check out Ignite Wrestling Pro on YouTube. Every single match we've ever had since day one is on there. Ignite Rest Pro on Twitter, Ignite Rest Pro on Instagram, and Ignite Wrestling Pro on TikTok. Check us out. All our content's on there. Obviously on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, you'll find all the links for tickets as well. You'll see all our future shows. Yeah, follow us, get tickets. Tickets to the next show, 12th of November, Curtain Call 2 are on sale already as well. And that is featuring, as announced today, the return of Joe Lando, but last time we saw him, he was facing Corey McRae to determine who was going to be the champion for the vacant Ignite Championship after Forrest Hayes sadly had to vacate that. So that was, you know, and those two tore the house down on that show. So yeah, I can't wait to have Joe back.
We will be there as well. We're getting our tickets, so we're going to be there on the 12th of November. You will see also the debut of Junior Buckle. He is going to be there. My lad Riley will be making. He's not wrestling by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, not wrestling yet,
but he is making his Turnbuckle and Ignite debut. He will be there as well. I need to end this on this. I get asked this question quite a bit, and I think we're at a stage now where I can end the podcast with this. The question I get asked, and I got this asked at Rev Pro, and I got this asked by a few wrestlers that we've had on. Actually, before we do that, hang on 1 second. Let's just talk about what we've got coming up tomorrow. Doug Williams will be on the podcast tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Can't wait for that. Yes, Dave, you keep doing his pose. The fact that when we said to Dave, you can't announce DDP, he went like that. To give it away, kind of.
Don't keep secrets. Don't tell me any secrets, CJ.
Yeah, do not stick through me. And then this next Wednesday we have the first ever Tough Enough winner, 3-time hardcore champion Maven. Maven Huffman will be coming on the show to talk all things wrestling and his YouTube channel, which has blown up big time. over the last few weeks and months. There may be some more guests, but I'm not going to name them yet. Let's just get to what I was going to say.
And for anybody that hasn't seen our show with the Brooklyn Brawler the other night, I mean that was such a great show. Really entertaining guy. Really told some great stories. So if anybody hasn't seen it, check out our YouTube page, and yeah, it's well worth an hour of your time.
Yeah, can I just say I listened to that Brooklyn Brawler episode yesterday, and yeah, it was brilliant. It really was. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I recommend it to anyone to listen. I also listened to the DDP one this morning. Yeah. I was a bit behind, so I'm trying to catch up.
It's all right.
Both though, excellent interviews, excellent podcasts. I'd recommend both of those two. Get on the YouTube channel. Go find them. I personally listening to them on Apple Podcasts, but obviously check them out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and yeah, there's some amazing interviews on there. Those two especially.
Yeah, Brooklyn Brawler is on his way to Florida to earn a lot of money to basically tell the stories that he told us for a lot cheaper than.
Yeah, I love how he started it with that. He was like, you know, I'm just going to say the same stories I'm going to say today. They're paying me loads of money to say them, so I'm done. You're getting them all here.
Yeah, we're getting them all here for like 95% of the difference of whatever.
And the comment he told us after, I know he's put it on Facebook, Ed, but it was very complimentary about us at the end, which is always nice to hear as well, because we always like to be respectful to our guests and our wrestlers, and we want them to feel comfortable. And he was very complimentary. So thank you, Steve, for agreeing to come on the show.
Yeah,
for what was a great interview for us.
It was indeed. Now let me get back so I can end this as I was going to end with the question I get asked by fans and by wrestlers and even wrestlers now as well was: are Hitting the Turnbuckle and Ignite going to be collaborating again for a show in the future? I will leave it with this, and I think it'll be the best way. I'm not going to sign off the signature way, so I'll thank CJ for his time now. I'll thank our problem child, as usual, for his time now, and I will leave you with this parting comment in a partial answer to your question. Buckle up 2024. Good night, everybody.